If you are about to take the GMAT, this video will guide you with basic information about the GMAT, how to self-study, and whole quantum verbal topic covered in the test. Welcome to the Everything Math. The first stage is the essential information stage. The GMAT stands for the Graduate Management Admission Test, and it's governed by Graduate Management Admission Council or GMAT. We need the GMAT score to apply to many MBA schools, Masters in Management (MIM) or Masters in Finance (MIF) in business school. The GMAT score is valid for 5 years. So if you are in undergrad, you can study and take the GMAT and then work for 2 or 3 years and apply for the MBA. The GMAT is a computer adaptive test, and you write the GMAT in a test center with the computers. You write the GMAT once every 16 days, 5 times in a year, and 8 times in your lifetime. Test is about 3.5 hours long, and there are 2 optional breaks. Each break is 8 minutes long. The test is $250 American, and if you want to reschedule your test date, you need to pay $50 up to a week before the test date and $250 if you want to reschedule within 1 week of the test. If you want to cancel the exam, you can get a refund of $50 if you cancel the test well before 1 week prior to the exam date. However, if you're within 7 days of the exam date inclusive, the fee will not be refunded even if you cancel it. So make decisions for reschedules and cancellations at least 7 days before the exam date. There are 4 sections in the GMAT. Analytical writing assessment is an essay that you evaluate and criticize on a given argument. You'll be given 30 minutes to write an essay on a computer screen, and it's recommended you write 4 to 5 paragraphs for this essay. AWA is scored from 0 to 6, and if you are aiming for a top MBA school, you should get over 5 points for AWA. Integrated reasoning is a 30-minute section that tests your overall reasoning in both math and English. It doesn't count toward your overall GMAT score, but a separate score for IR is provided. If you are aiming for a top MBA school and scholarship, I recommend you get a high IR score of 6 or above. In integrated reasoning, an on-screen calculator is provided. The IR is all about your ability to skim and find the necessary information quickly. Quantitative reasoning is a section that tests your reasoning skill in high school level math. Calculus is not tested in the GMAT. Also, calculators are not allowed in quantitative reasoning. You have to complete 31 questions within 62 minutes, which means you need to spend an average time of 2 minutes for each question. To get above a high score of 700, aim to solve easy questions within 1 minute and spend more time on difficult questions. Every quant question is a multiple choice. In quantitative reasoning, there is a unique feature of the GMAT called data sufficiency. A data sufficiency type question always have the same answer choices, so you should memorize these answer choices for faster problem solving. Data sufficiency is about whether given information is sufficient to answer the question with an answer. So if you can answer with a yes or no, or with a definite number, the provided data is sufficient. On the other hand, if there are multiple possibilities for answer, then the data is not sufficient to answer the question. A lot of times you don't need to do full calculations in the data sufficiency. So learn to solve data sufficiency type of questions quickly because it takes time to get familiar with it. In verbal reasoning, you have to solve 36 questions in 65 minutes. It means you need to solve each question under 2 minutes. In verbal, you'll be given 4 reading passages and about sentence correction questions and 11 critical reasoning questions. I recommend you master the sentence correction so that you can save time in this section and spend more time in reading and critical reasoning. You will be scored based on your performance in both the quantum verbal out of 800. Usually, you need to get over 720 as a minimum for top MBA schools and scholarships. When you take a practice exam, refer to the following score guideline. If you get between 400 and 500, it means you lack certain basic knowledge. Spend more time studying. If you get between 500 and 600, it means you lack stamina for the test. Practice your pace in the actual GMAT by taking practice exams. Choose to guess questions and save your time. Do not guess in a row. If you get between 600 and 700, it means you need to step up with a smart strategy. Start keeping an error log and become aware of your weak areas. If you are aiming for over 700 score, learn certain advanced formulae. To get over 700, generally, we need to score high in verbal because the verbal score is more weighted than the quant score. There are many GMAT takers who get high score in quant, so doing better in verbal is the key for the high score. In the GMAT, never ever skip a question without answer because that will give you a heavy penalty. That is why learning to get certain questions is important in the GMAT. Before you start the GMAT, you'll be given 3 choices for the order of sections. The first option is analytical writing assessment, integral reasoning, quant, and then verbal reasoning. The second option is verbal, quant, integral reasoning, and then analytical writing assessment. The third option is quant, verbal, integral reasoning, and then analytical writing assessment. The MBA schools will not know which order you took, so relax and find your best performing order with practice exams. Now that we covered the essential information about the GMAT, let us talk about how to study for the GMAT. How do you study for the GMAT? Invest your money into the officer guide books. There are 3 officer guide books. The latest version is the GMAT Officer Guide 2020, the GMAT Officer Guide 2020 Quantitative Review, and the GMAT Officer Guide 2020 Verbal Review. Study these books first, and when you get familiar with the question types, try Practice Exam 1 and 2 on the GMAT website. Practice Exam 1 and 2 are free. I recommend you to buy Practice Exam 3 and 4 as well, which is about $50. You can practice twice for each exam, so for $50 you can run 4 full practice exams. Because the questions in the officer guide change much. If you have a previous version of the officer guides, don't worry and study them. Every year, about 15% to 20% of the questions change in the officer guides, and about 85% of the problems stay the same. If you can, always study the online version of the officer guide. That way, you will get used to looking at computer monitors and utilize your notepad. Also, the online versions come with timers and multiple choice selections that are similar to the actual exam. In paper version of the officer guide, every question has multiple choice of A to E, but on the actual GMAT, there are no lettering in multiple choices. Make sure you study with a separate notepad as well, because the actual GMAT will be done with a computer and you'll be given lined notepad for hand calculation and notes. Simulating your study close to actual test environment is a key to success. There are 1,081 questions for the GMAT Officer Guide 2020, 319 questions for 2020 Quantitative Review, and 312 questions for 2020 Verbal Review. In total, there are 1,712 questions for the 3 books. If you solve about 60 questions per day, you can finish the whole 3 books in 28 days. So aim for more than 50 questions per day when you study for the GMAT. Now I will explain the topics covered in quantitative and verbal reasoning. Quantitative reasoning section has 4 big categories: arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and word problems. In arithmetic, following important concepts are tested: divisors or factors, multiples, quotients and remainders, even or odd integers, prime numbers, consecutive integers or arithmetic sequences, fractions, decimals, digits, ratio, proportion, percent change, square root, cube root, descriptive statistics, arithmetic mean or average, mode, range, standard deviation, frequency distribution, set, elements, subset, Venn diagram, counting methods, factorial, permutations and combinations, and probability. Make sure to master descriptive statistics like mean and standard deviation, and counting methods like permutations and combinations. These 2 are very popular topics that appear in the GMAT. In algebra, following concepts are tested: simplifying algebraic expressions with like terms, solving linear equations with 1 and 2 unknowns, factoring algebraic equations with roots, solving quadratic equations. But you don't need to study for the quadratic formula, exponents and powers, inequalities, absolute values, functions, and special symbols. Your ability to translate word problems into algebraic expressions is very crucial. In geometry, following concepts are tested: coordinated geometry, lines, angles, perpendicular and parallel lines, coordinated plane, distance, slope, x-intercept, y-intercept. polygons up to hexagon, parameters of polygons, triangles, equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles, hypotenuse, length of legs of triangles, Pythagorean theorem, quadrilaterals, squares, rectangles, trapezoid, parallelogram, and length and areas of these quadrilaterals, circles, chord, radius and diameter, circumference, area of circles, tangent, inscribed, and circumscribed, 3D shapes, cubes, cylinder, rectangular solids, vertex, surface area and volume of these 3D shapes. In word problems, the following topics are tested: rate, work, water problems, interest, discount, profit, cost, measurement, data interpretation, time problems, and word problems from arithmetic, algebra, and geometry. Often counting problems like permutations, combinations, percents and fractions, ratios and proportions, probability appear as word problems for higher difficulty level questions. For verbal, check the following concepts. Learn certain idioms and usages that appear frequently in sentence correction, like versus as, like versus such as, between versus among, each other versus one another, agree with and agree to, not only but also, not only but, not X but rather Y, between X and Y, concerned for versus concerned with, same to X as to Y, greater than versus more than, such as X so Y, such as X so to Y, not so much X as Y, forbid X to do Y and prohibit X from Y, range from, and there are many more. For critical reasoning, learn to find the conclusion and reasoning behind the conclusion in an argument. For reading comprehension, get familiar with business reading like management and history of companies, economics and money topics, science like astronomy and biology, anthropology and archaeology, and social science like women's rights movement and black people's rights. Great! We cleared the 3 stages. For the last stage, we talk about the overall picture of the application package for MBA programs. So how important is the GMAT? Well, it's really case by case and everyone is different. But according to a 2015 survey by the GMAT rates only 20% of the whole application package. It means your essays, GPAs in undergrad or grad, resumes, and reference letters are important as well. So do not devote on the GMAT only when you are planning for application. You need to give yourself some time to prepare for application essays, reference letters, and resumes. Many students take about 2 to 3 months to study for the GMAT, but I've seen some people taking more than a year to study for the GMAT. It really depends on your ability to commit to the study while working. Some even took up to 8 exams and got into top MBA schools, so there is no definite rule as to how to study. Specifically and realistically, set your goals and prepare. If your GPA is low, then you might need to make up with a high GMAT score to prove that you are academically fit to join the MBA program. Congratulations, you cleared the everything math. So that's it for the GMAT introduction. Remember that the GMAT is used to enter business schools, so it's not about testing your conceptual knowledge, but your cognitive ability. The more you are aware of your current situation and weaknesses and strengths, the better you will do in the GMAT. After all, it's verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning and integrated reasoning. Reasoning is the theme for the GMAT. I put useful links below in the description, so please check them out. If you have any questions, please comment and I will reply whenever possible. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and good luck with the GMAT.